My friend, listen to me carefully. Poverty is not a curse, it's a condition of the mind. True wealth is not in your pocket, it's in your purpose. If you misunderstand money, you will misuse your life. What I'm about to share with you in these next minutes has the power to break generational lack and rewire your future for abundance. So lean in, because you're not just hearing words, you're about to receive keys that unlock doors your parents could never open. My friend, let me tell you something that will transform the way you see yourself forever. Poverty is not just the absence of money, it is the absence of ideas. A poor mind will remain poor even if you pour $1 million into it, because the mindset is the factory of wealth. Think about this. Why do people who win the lottery often end up broke again within a few years? It's because the money exceeded their mindset. Their hands received what their minds could not sustain. You see, your life today is a reflection of your dominant thoughts from yesterday. If you keep thinking that life is hard and you can never rise, then your mind begins to manufacture situations to prove you right. The human mind is like fertile soil. It does not care what seed you plant. If you plant thoughts of lack, defeat, struggle, and victimhood, it will grow trees that bear fruits of stress, poverty, and frustration. But if you plant thoughts of abundance, discipline, solutions, creativity, and vision, your mind will grow opportunities, innovations, and pathways to wealth. Look around you. The difference between the man who owns the company and the man who sweeps its floors is not breath, not blood, not muscles, it is mindset. One man wakes up thinking about ideas, innovations, and leadership. Another wakes up thinking about his daily wage, hoping to survive. Both have 24 hours. Both have a brain with billions of neurons capable of creating empires. But one uses his mind as an engine while the other uses his mind as a dustbin. What are you using yours for? My friend, the greatest prisons are not made of iron bars. They are built with limiting beliefs. Every time you say, I can't, you build a wall in your mind. Every time you say, it's impossible for me, you lock a door in your future. But every time you say, how can I? You open a window for light to enter. Wealthy people are not born with a special brain, they just ask better questions. While others say, why is this happening to me? Wealthy thinkers ask, how can I use this situation to grow, to serve, and to build something greater? Questions determine your focus, and your focus shapes your destiny. Let me give you an example from daily life. Imagine two farmers in a drought. One sits and complains about the sun, cursing the skies and feeling sorry for himself. The other starts digging a well, collecting dew in containers at dawn, and studying which crops can survive harsh seasons. Who becomes wealthier? The drought did not choose them differently. Their mindsets did. Life is not what happens to you, it is what you do with what happens to you. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thought that enters your mind? Do you think, another hard day, let me just survive? Or do you think, today is a blank check and I will fill it with value, excellence, and purpose? That one thought frames your energy, your attitude, and your decisions for the entire day. Wealth is built daily, not in sudden miracles. It is built in small, disciplined, purpose-driven decisions rooted in a mindset that refuses to stay ordinary. Your environment is also a reflection of your mind. If your room is always scattered, if your desk is always unorganized, if your finances are never tracked, it is not a money problem, it is a mindset problem. Wealthy people understand that order creates space for increase. Clean your room, organize your goals, write your plans, review your spending. These are not chores, they are mind training exercises that prepare you to handle greater responsibility and bigger finances. If you cannot manage your room, how will you manage a business? If you cannot manage your salary, how will you manage investments? It starts with mindset, and mindset is revealed in your habits. Sometimes people say, but I didn't go to the best school, I didn't grow up in a rich home. My friend, wealth does not ask where you came from, it asks where you're going. History is filled with people who came from nothing but changed everything. Their secret was mindset. They refused to let their past define their capacity. They studied relentlessly, worked tirelessly, improved consistently, and believed unshakably. They knew that the only difference between them and the wealthy was mindset, and once their mind changed, their finances had no choice but to follow. Let me tell you this powerful truth: your income will never exceed your personal development. If you grow yourself, your wealth will grow. If you expand your knowledge, your opportunities will expand. If you refine your discipline, your results will refine. Money is a tool, and tools respond to the mind that wields them. If your mind is sharpened, you will build with precision. If your mind is dull, you will waste resources, time, and energy. That is why the wealthiest people spend more money on books, seminars, mentorship, and learning. They know that the mind is the source of all wealth, and if it remains poor, nothing else can become rich. Imagine a gardener planting seeds in concrete. Nothing will grow. But when he tills the soil, nourishes it, removes stones, and creates fertile ground, even the smallest seed can become a great tree. Your mind is that soil. Till it daily with good words, good thoughts, good teachings, and positive declarations. Remove the stones of doubt, fear, excuses, and laziness. Nourish it with discipline, focus, reading, strategic relationships, and excellence. Then, when life places opportunities before you, they will find a ready ground to grow and multiply. Mindset is wealth. Change it, and you change your financial destiny forever. Let me tell you something that will shatter every limitation you have placed on yourself. Money is not the purpose of life. It is the result of purpose. The problem with most people is that they wake up every morning thinking about what they can get, but wealthy thinkers wake up every morning thinking about what they can give. Money is attracted to value, and value is birthed out of purpose. If your only reason for waking up is to pay bills, you have reduced your life to survival instead of dominion. Imagine a doctor who only treats patients because he wants their money. He will never become great because his focus is profit over purpose. But think of the doctor who wakes up daily with a passion to see people healthy, to see lives restored, to see families smile again because their father is healed or their child is free from pain. That doctor becomes trusted, recommended, respected, and rewarded abundantly. His purpose births his profit, but if he had chased profit without purpose, he would have lost both. People think that chasing purpose will make them poor. No, my friend, it is chasing money without purpose that keeps people poor. Because money only follows the one who knows why they exist. Why? Because purpose makes you necessary. When you are necessary, people will find you, call you, pay you, and recommend you. The world does not pay for your existence, it pays for your difference. And your difference is hidden in your purpose. Look at a mango tree. It does not produce fruit to feed itself. Its fruits feed people, animals, and even fertilize the soil when they fall. Yet what happens in return? People water it, protect it, prune it, and plant more seeds from its fruits. Purpose attracts provision. The tree does not scream for attention. Its fruits announce its purpose. Likewise, when you begin to function in your purpose, you will not need to advertise excessively or beg people to support you. Your excellence in purpose will become your loudest billboard. Think about your daily life. Why do you go to the same restaurant again and again? It's not because they chase you with flyers every day. It's because their food solves your hunger problem excellently. Their purpose is clear. Feed people delicious meals that keep them coming back. Because of that, their profits increase naturally. The cleaner, the chef, the supplier, everyone benefits when purpose is pursued with integrity and excellence. You must understand that the Creator never made anything without purpose. The bird was created to fly. The fish was created to swim. The sun was created to shine. And you were created to solve a problem on this earth. The problem you solve is what makes you relevant. A fish trying to climb a tree will always feel useless, but the moment it discovers water, it becomes unstoppable. Many people feel frustrated and broke because they are chasing what everyone else is doing, not what they were born to do. Your purpose is your natural environment of prosperity. It is where you operate with grace, creativity, and consistency without burnout. When you do things only for money, you will always feel tired and empty at the end of the day because you have used your energy without fulfilling your essence. But when you do things from purpose, even when you're physically tired, your spirit remains energized because you are in alignment with your creation. Look at inventors like Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times creating the light bulb. Do you think he was driven by profit alone? No. Purpose kept him going when profit was nowhere to be found. And because he fulfilled his purpose, profit chased him for the rest of his life. The same with people like Steve Jobs, who was obsessed with design and function, not just profit margins. His purpose was to make technology beautifully simple. Because of that, profit chased Apple beyond imagination. Sometimes you may feel that pursuing purpose is slow. You see your friends chasing money and they look like they're ahead, but purpose never fails to reward. Profit can deceive for a moment, but purpose establishes you for a lifetime. Profit-driven people fade away when trends change. Purpose-driven people remain relevant across generations because their existence is tied to a need that will never expire. In your daily work, ask yourself, what problem am I solving today? Who am I serving today? How can I make someone's life better today? These questions shift you from mediocrity to significance. The cleaner who cleans purposefully with excellence gets promoted to supervisor. The driver who drives with integrity and safety gets recommended to better clients. The teacher who teaches with passion produces students who will one day remember her and honor her with gifts and gratitude she never imagined. Profit without purpose will leave you empty. You will buy the cars, the house, the clothes, and still feel like your life has no meaning. That is why celebrities with millions still overdose on drugs and depression. Because money cannot fulfill what only purpose was designed to fulfill. But when you pursue purpose, even if profit is slow, your life will be rich in meaning. And meaning will eventually bring you money that will not add sorrow to your soul. Your life was designed to be an answer to something on earth. That answer is your purpose. When you wake up every morning with the mindset of purpose over profit, you will find that your creativity increases, your ideas flow without struggle, your connections become meaningful, and your value multiplies daily. Purpose is the foundation of wealth that lasts beyond your lifetime because it builds a legacy no economy can erase. Let me tell you a truth that will revolutionize how you see your life. You do not need more to become great. You need to master what you already have. Most people think that success will come when they get a new job, a bigger platform, a better opportunity, or a miracle connection. But let me shock you today. If you do not master the small opportunities in your hands now, the bigger ones will destroy you instead of lifting you. Life does not reward you for what you desire. It rewards you for what you manage excellently. Think about it. Why would life trust you with a business when you cannot manage your salary? Why would life trust you with 1 million followers when you cannot influence the 100 people who already listen to you? Why would life trust you with a team when you cannot even lead yourself out of bed in the morning with discipline and vision? Mastery is proof that you are ready for multiplication. Look around you. That phone in your hand, do you use it to build or to waste? Do you use it to grow your mind, to create content, to study, to learn skills, to build relationships, to market your ideas? Or do you use it to scroll endlessly through the lives of people who have mastered what they have while you sit wishing for more? The internet is filled with people who started from nothing, but used what they had so well that it attracted the attention of kings. A young man in a small room records his wisdom daily on his cracked phone camera. And one day that video reaches a billionaire who changes his life forever. Why? Because he mastered what he had. Imagine a cleaner at a hotel who cleans with such excellence, attention to detail, and commitment that guests constantly report about him. One day, a wealthy guest notices him, asks about his dreams, and sponsors him into management training. That is how mastery works. It attracts elevation. But imagine another cleaner who does his work with laziness, complaining about his low pay and wishing for a better job. His lack of mastery keeps him locked in the very place he despises. Mastery is what changes your position, not mere wishing. You see, most people despise small beginnings because they are blinded by envy for big platforms. But what they do not realize is that big platforms are built on the foundation of small, consistent mastery. The musician who cannot master singing to 10 people with excellence will embarrass himself before 10,000. The speaker who cannot deliver a powerful message to his community center will crumble before a global stage. The entrepreneur who cannot manage $100 will sink in debt when given $1 million. Mastery is the test before elevation. Think about David, the shepherd boy. When he stood before Goliath, he did not use a sword he had never tested. He used a sling he had mastered in secret while tending sheep. He did not despise the small tool in his hand. He mastered it so well that when destiny demanded excellence, he had it ready. The problem with most people is that they are waiting for Goliath to show up before they practice with their sling. Life does not work that way. You master your sling in the field of obscurity so that when the battle of visibility comes, you are not rehearsing, you are performing. In your daily life, look around and ask yourself, what have I mastered? Have I mastered my emotions, or do they master me? Have I mastered my time, or does laziness steal it? Have I mastered my words, or do I speak carelessly? Have I mastered my skill, or am I still mediocre after years of practice? Have I mastered my spending, or am I still blaming poverty for what poor discipline created? Mastery is the difference between those who watch greatness and those who become greatness. I want you to realize that mastery is not an event, it is a lifelong commitment. A pianist who stops practicing will soon play out of tune. A bodybuilder who stops training will lose muscle. A speaker who stops studying will become outdated. That is why wealthy thinkers keep learning, refining, sharpening, and humbling themselves to feedback. They know that excellence today does not guarantee relevance tomorrow unless it is maintained through consistent mastery. Sometimes people say, but I don't have opportunities. My friend, opportunity is often disguised as responsibility. That small role you hate is an opportunity to master leadership. That job you think is beneath you is an opportunity to master service. That business with only 5 clients is an opportunity to master excellence in customer experience. When you treat the small like it is big, life will trust you with the big. But when you treat the small with contempt, you prove you are not ready for more. Look at your wardrobe. If you cannot keep 2 pairs of shoes clean, how will you manage a collection? Look at your kitchen. If you cannot keep 1 pot shining, how will you manage a restaurant? Look at your time. If you waste free time now, how will you manage when life gets busy with success? Everything you do today is a rehearsal for tomorrow's opportunities. Those who master their now will always be trusted with what is next. Mastery turns ordinary people into authorities. The person who masters cooking becomes a chef. The person who masters communication becomes a leader. The person who masters discipline becomes an example. Mastery makes you unforgettable. When people experience your work, your attitude, your results, they will say, I want that person again. That is how doors open without you knocking. That is how wealth locates you without you begging. That is how favor becomes your normal, because you have become a master over what others treat casually. Most people think money is about working hard, but let me tell you the truth that will shock your system. Money does not respond to hard work alone. It responds to laws. There are street sweepers who work from 4 a.m. till sunset and still go home poor, and there are investors who work a few hours a day and make more money in one deal than the sweeper will see in a lifetime. Is it fair? No. But is it reality? Yes. Because money answers to understanding, not just effort. Imagine someone who never learned to drive trying to move a car by pushing it everywhere he goes. He will sweat, he will struggle, and he will waste time. Yet the person with the key who knows how to drive will arrive miles ahead effortlessly. This is how money works. Many are pushing life with struggle and frustration because they never sat down to learn the laws that govern money. They think it's a mystery or luck, but wealth is never luck. It is governed by principles. One of the laws of money is the law of value. People don't pay you for your presence, they pay you for your value. Your job pays you according to the value you bring to their system, not according to your bills or tiers. If you want to increase your income, you must increase your value. That is why a brain surgeon earns more than a general cleaner. Both are humans, both work hard, but the level of value they bring to society is different. The surgeon mastered a rare and high-impact skill. The cleaner mastered a common and low-impact task. Money is not emotional, it flows where value is highest. Another law of money is the law of management. Money flees from those who mismanage it. If you give a fool $1 million, he will become $1 million fool who is soon broke again. That is why lottery winners often go bankrupt within a few years, because they received money without the mindset to manage it. But if you give a wise poor man a small amount, he will multiply it because his understanding is wealth itself. Always remember, money in the hands of the ignorant flows to the hands of the wise eventually. Then there is the law of multiplication. Money was never designed to be spent first. It was designed to be multiplied first. Poor people spend and save what is left. Wealthy people invest and spend from their returns. This is why a poor man will buy an expensive phone first, while a wealthy man will buy stocks in the company that makes the phone. The poor man becomes a consumer. The wealthy man becomes an owner. This law will change your future forever if you embrace it without excuses. Look at your daily life. When you receive money, do you ask, how can I multiply this before I spend it? Or do you immediately think of shopping, upgrading your lifestyle, showing off, or satisfying cravings? Money multiplies under discipline, but it disappears under impulse. The greatest destroyer of financial destiny is an undisciplined appetite. It is better to drive a modest car you own while investing your excess money than to drive a luxury car on loan that steals your freedom every month. Another law is the law of honor. Money flows towards those who honor mentorship and wisdom. Many people remain broke because they are too proud to learn. They think they know enough, so life humbles them with constant lack. But when you find a person who humbles themselves to study money, learn from the wealthy, read books on investment, attend seminars, and practice what they learn, watch that person closely. They will rise out of poverty's pit like a rocket out of the ground. Honor attracts favor, and favor opens financial gates. There is also the law of generosity. Money is a seed, and seeds only multiply when planted. A stingy hand will always remain empty eventually. The generous are never without supply because the universe trusts them as a channel, not just a container. When you hold money too tightly, it slips through your fingers, but when you use it wisely to bless, invest, and grow others, it returns with increase. The farmer who eats all his seeds will have nothing tomorrow, but the farmer who sows will harvest with tears of gratitude. Look at people around you. Why do some people with average education rise to become owners of companies, while others with degrees remain begging for jobs? It is because one learned the laws of money, while the other only learned theories that never translate to income. Education gives you information, but wisdom gives you transformation. Wisdom is applying truth consistently until results appear. No amount of prayer can override ignorance of these laws. Even if you pray 10 hours a day but spend foolishly, money will not stay with you. Think of the young boy who sells peanuts by the road. Every day he earns a small profit. But instead of spending it on sweets or unnecessary clothes, he saves a portion, reinvests in buying more stock, adds other snack items, and within 2 years opens a small shop. 5 years later, he owns 3 shops and supplies peanuts wholesale to other vendors. Meanwhile, his friend who laughed at him still sits under a tree waiting for customers with no growth. This is not magic, it is obedience to the laws of money. Another critical law is the law of timing. Money has seasons. There is a time to sow and a time to reap. There is a time to buy and a time to sell. Those who study the times always prosper. You see traders who know when the market is low and buy quickly, then wait and sell when it rises. The ignorant complain about the economy while the wise profit from it. Opportunities never leave earth. They just move to those who understand timing. Money is a servant. It will obey whoever knows its laws. But when you do not know these laws, money becomes your master, and you will spend your life working for it instead of commanding it to work for you. Study the laws of money as you would study for an exam that determines your life, because truly, it does determine the quality, freedom, and impact of your life on earth. Most people live their lives chasing buckets. They go out every day with a bucket called a job, fill it with wages, come back home, empty it through bills and expenses, then wake up the next day to fetch again. They live in an endless cycle of fetching, carrying and emptying buckets, thinking this is the only way to survive. But listen to me, life was never designed for you to carry buckets. It was designed for you to build streams. Streams flow whether you are awake or asleep, strong or weak, present or absent. Streams do not ask your permission to flow. They obey the law of continuity because you built them on principles that work with or without your daily sweat. Imagine 2 men. One wakes up at 4 a.m. every day to carry water from the river to his house. He spends hours fetching, walking, pouring, and repeating. The other man wakes up at the same time, but instead of fetching water, he begins laying pipes from the river to his house. For weeks, the first man laughs at him, saying, "You are wasting time while I have water every day." But the wise man keeps laying pipes, enduring the dirt, sweat, and loneliness. Months later, he turns a tap and water flows effortlessly into his kitchen, bathroom, and garden. The bucket carrier sees this and is shocked. While he still sweats to fetch, the pipe layer enjoys rest and abundance. This is how streams work compared to buckets. Your salary is a bucket, your wages are a bucket, but your investments are streams. Your business that works even when you are sleeping is a stream. Your real estate rental income is a stream. Your online products that sell 24/7 are streams. Your intellectual property that people pay to access is a stream. If you die today, your bucket stops filling. But if you build streams, your children's children will drink from what you created. That is how legacies are born. Look at nature. Does a river carry buckets of water from the mountain to the ocean? No, it flows in streams and channels carved deep by consistency over time. Streams do not run in panic, they run in order. Buckets wear you out, streams sustain you. Most people only build one stream, their job, and when that stream dries up, their entire life collapses. But wealthy minds build multiple streams. If one slows down, the others keep flowing. They are never in panic about recessions or downsizing because streams are diversified. Think of a woman who works in an office from 9 to 5. She uses her evenings to learn baking. On weekends, she starts baking cakes and selling them online. She saves a portion of her profits and starts a small YouTube channel teaching cake decoration. That channel grows and begins to earn ad revenue. She writes an ebook on baking for beginners and sells it to her audience. She then invests part of her income in a small piece of land to build rental units. Within 5 years, this woman has built 4 streams apart from her job. If her employer fires her tomorrow, her life continues because she was wise enough to build streams, not just carry buckets. Buckets depend on your physical strength and presence. Streams depend on the systems you have built. That is why a man with 1 bucket lives with fear every day, terrified of job loss, sickness, or injury, because the day he cannot carry his bucket is the day he and his family go thirsty. But the person with streams has peace in their heart, because even if they rest for a season, the streams continue to nourish their life. I once heard of a teacher who taught math in high school. Every evening he tutored students privately for extra income, but he noticed he could only teach a few students per week because of time. One day, he recorded his entire math curriculum as video tutorials and posted them online for a small monthly subscription. Within a year, students from different cities and even countries subscribed. His stream began to grow far beyond his physical classroom. The same knowledge he used for 1 bucket, his teaching job, became a global stream. He built a system instead of depending on sweat alone. Streams require wisdom, planning, sacrifice, and patience. Buckets require immediate sweat. That is why people prefer buckets, because streams take time to build. But those who endure the season of building streams enjoy the seasons of endless flow. Buckets can only carry as much as your hands can lift, but streams carry unlimited supply because they are powered by systems bigger than you. The question is, are you spending your entire life carrying buckets that tire you out? Or are you building streams that will bless generations after you? The reason some people never build streams is because they think they need big money to start. But let me tell you, streams begin with small trickles. That online course you create, that small piece of land you buy for future rental, that website you build to sell your products, that book you write and publish, these are trickles that become streams. Never despise small beginnings. The Amazon River starts as small streams in the Andes. The Nile River begins as tiny springs in the mountains of Burundi and Rwanda. But they become mighty rivers that nations depend on for life and trade. If you keep thinking like a bucket carrier, you will keep working till your knees fail and your back bends. But if you think like a stream builder, you will create channels of wealth that flow to you and through you to others. Streams make you a blessing to communities, to charities, to your family. Streams make you a fountain people can drink from without drying you out. Streams make you influential because when you control resources, you control solutions. You become relevant beyond your small circle. You become an answer in a world drowning in problems because your streams can build schools, hospitals, and shelters for the poor. Streams make your life a testimony of impact. Not just survival. Most people spend their lives chasing luxury. They want the biggest car, the tallest house, the shiniest watch, and the most fashionable clothes. They think that if they gather enough luxury, the world will respect them, people will clap for them, and their insecurities will vanish. But true wealth does not measure itself by what you wear or drive. True wealth measures itself by what outlives you. The car you drive today will be scrapped in 15 years. The mansion you build will be redesigned by your children to fit their taste. The watch that sparkles on your wrist will one day be sold at an auction to strangers. But what you build in people's lives, what you leave behind is knowledge, systems, businesses, and opportunities. That is what remains when your name is whispered in the wind. Look at your life today. If you die tomorrow, will your name echo as a man or woman who built a stream of impact? Or will people only remember the perfume you wore that faded with your coffin? I once heard a story of 2 brothers. The first spent his life working and saving to buy luxury cars, designer shoes, and gold chains. The second spent his life building schools in poor communities, sponsoring students, creating businesses that employed hundreds, and writing books to teach financial freedom. When they both died, the first brother's wealth was auctioned, and within months his memory disappeared. But the second brother's name was spoken daily in the mouths of children graduating from the schools he built. His name became a banner of hope for families whose lives he transformed. He understood that legacy is more powerful than luxury. There is nothing wrong with luxury if it comes as a byproduct of purpose. But when you chase luxury as your identity, it will consume you. Have you seen how people change cars every 2 years just to prove they are ahead? How they buy the new iPhone just to post an unboxing video to get validation from people who don't care about their future. But do you know who never dies in this world? The people who built legacies. People who funded hospitals, people who created scholarships, people who built libraries, people who created job opportunities in communities where poverty was a generational curse. Think of a farmer. One spends his money buying the biggest tractor just to show off to neighboring farmers, but never invests in irrigation systems to sustain his farm for generations. Another farmer uses his profits to buy seeds for future seasons, to buy land for expansion, to build a water reservoir to protect his crops during drought. 20 years later, the first farmer's tractor is rusting in the yard, but the second farmer's children are exporting crops to international markets. One chased luxury, the other built legacy. A man who buys a Rolls-Royce today, it's a beautiful luxury. But the man who invests in building a transportation company that owns a fleet of buses feeding families through employment, that is legacy. The woman who buys a diamond necklace shines at a dinner party, but the woman who uses that same money to start a microfinance initiative for single mothers builds a legacy that feeds thousands. Luxury feeds your ego. Legacy feeds destinies. Luxury says, look at me. Legacy says, look at what I left for you. I heard of an old woman who spent her entire working life as a nurse. When she retired, she used her pension and savings to buy books for rural school libraries across her country. She never wore expensive clothes. She never drove an expensive car. But every time a child opened a science book in a remote village, her name was stamped on the first page. That is wealth. Because wealth is measured by how many lives you empowered, not how many people envied you. Luxury fades with the trend. Legacy grows with time. Luxury is buried with you. Legacy is carried by those you mentored and empowered. That is why people who understand wealth are not obsessed with being seen in the most expensive restaurants. They are obsessed with being remembered as the person who fed generations. They don't care about impressing strangers at a dinner table. They care about leaving a table that generations can dine on long after their bones have turned to dust. Do you know why trees are such a powerful lesson in legacy? Because the person who plants a tree may never sit under its shade, but generations after will find shelter, fruit, and timber from it. That is wealth. If you are still obsessed with buying designer shoes just to impress people who don't even love themselves, you are living below your purpose. If you still think that buying a flashy car is better than investing in knowledge for your children, you are living small. The wealthiest people don't walk around showing off their bank balance. They walk around strategizing how their bank balance can change the destinies of nations. Luxury is for the season. Legacy is for eternity. Luxury dies with your body. Legacy multiplies after your death. When you go to the grave, the leather seats of your car will not lie next to you, but the ideas you planted in people's minds, the systems you built to empower families, the scholarships you gave to students, those will continue breathing life, even when your body no longer breathes oxygen. If you want to live a wealthy life, do not chase luxury as your identity. Let luxury follow you as you build legacy. Let your luxury be silent and your legacy be loud. Let your house be comfortable, but let your legacy house generations. Let your clothes be decent, but let your legacy clothe thousands. Let your shoes protect your feet, but let your legacy protect entire communities. Because at the end of it all, when your name is spoken in rooms you never entered, when your words guide people you never met, when your investments feed families you never saw, then you will understand the true meaning of wealth. So, as you walk out of this moment into the rest of your life, remember that your greatest enemy is not poverty, it is a small mindset. Your greatest weakness is not lack of resources, it is lack of vision. If your vision can only buy you shoes and clothes, your life will end with those shoes and clothes. But if your vision can feed generations, your name will live longer than your bones. Always remember, people don't remember what you wore, they remember how you made them feel, what you taught them, what you left in them, and what you awakened within them. You are not just a consumer of this earth, you are a contributor to the destiny of humanity. Stop living like your breath is just for survival. Your breath is a reminder that purpose is unfinished. Every day you wake up is a sign that something in this world still needs the oil inside you. Your ideas, your skills, your discipline, Your words, your investments, someone's freedom is tied to them. Never let a day pass without leaving an imprint that will outlive you. When you are tempted to shrink your dreams because of fear, tell yourself this powerful dialogue: I was not born to fit in their limitations. I was born to manifest possibilities. When you feel too small to make a difference, remind yourself, even a candle defeats darkness. I will shine where I am by. You have to start seeing yourself as a walking solution. People are crying at night while you sleep comfortably with ideas that could end their tears. Someone is praying for school fees while you hold a business idea that could employ their parents. Someone is about to commit suicide while you carry words that could restore their hope. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for perfect conditions? Let me tell you today, conditions will never be perfect. It is your courage that makes conditions bow to you. You do not wait for the season to be right. You command the season to align with your purpose. Don't say you are too young or too old. Age is not your limitation. Doubt is your limitation. Fear is your chain. Break it, because every day you delay your purpose, someone's life remains locked in darkness. There will be days when you feel like your journey is pointless, like no one sees you, no one claps for you, no one celebrates your effort. But listen to me carefully. Eagles don't fly in flocks. They soar alone, and because they soar alone, their eyes see further than all other birds. Your isolation is not punishment, it is preparation for elevation. When you walk alone, you discover your true strength. When you walk alone, you hear the whispers of God that crowd silence. When you walk alone, you build wings that storms cannot tear apart. Remember these words: lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Stop worrying about who believes in you and who does not. Start worrying about whether you believe in yourself. Because when you stand before your grave, nobody's opinion will matter, only your obedience to your assignment. Never say, I don't have enough. Because the truth is, you are enough. You have enough, and what you have is enough to start the miracle that will birth your destiny. Just like a seed in your hand looks small until you plant it, and it becomes a forest. Your ideas look small until you act on them, and they become an empire. Remember, seeds only grow when they leave your hand. Your ideas only grow when they leave your mind. From today, speak to yourself with authority. Say, I will not die with my gifts still buried in me. I will not die with my potential untapped. I will not die remembered only for what I bought, but I will die remembered for what I built. Because one day your body will return to dust, but your words, your ideas, your businesses, your kindness, your wisdom, your books, your schools, your systems will keep breathing for you on this earth. That is wealth. That is immortality. That is legacy. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to make existence meaningful for others. Live like your life is the answer to someone's desperate prayer, because it truly is